This week on Let's Fish TV, I'm jumping on Pickwick Lake right after a mass amount of rain. When it rains on the Tennessee River, that means two things: current and dirty water. We've got a bunch of both. One thing about it is the fish are supposedly biting. I can't wait to get out there and catch a few of those nice largemouth bass. Not quite sure how we're gonna catch them yet, but I can tell you one thing: we're definitely gonna give it our best and have a lot of fun doing it. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now.
That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
Welcome to Pickwick Lake, located right on the border of Tennessee and Alabama. This is a part of the Tennessee River chain. It has over 490 miles of shoreline and 43,000 acres of water. I bet it has a few more acres of water now just because the lake is so high. But I can tell you one thing, guys, this thing is full of largemouth bass, and that's what we're going after today. Not really sure how we're gonna catch them, but I know for a fact we're gonna put some of those nice bass in the boat. We'll also have this week's fishing report for your local region from our insider reporters. This week we're fishing out of the Low Stinger 198 bass boat. And I'm gonna tell you guys, this thing is loaded with all the good stuff. Has a really wide beam, it handles rough water well. It's a really nice aluminum bass boat. I think you would really like it. I tell you, the thing I probably like the most is just how wide it is. You can put 2 to 3 people on the front deck and fish with ease. And this is just a 19-foot boat. And you can't really say that about a lot of aluminum boats out there. In the meantime, I'm gonna get this boat launched, get it in the water, and I'm gonna toss it back to the studio for your weekend planner.
Hey everybody, so great to see you again. The Solunar tables are indicating that this is the best weekend of the month to get out and fish. We'll have excellent game fish activity for both days this weekend. Peak daytime hours begin late morning around 10:56 on Saturday and 11:53 on Sunday. The best nighttime fishing will begin after 11:21 on Saturday and midnight on Sunday night. Depending on where you are, expect the sun to rise around 6:47 and set around 8:22. Fishing at night will be very dark, and we will have a new moon this weekend. We'll be right back to check all of the current fishing reports from throughout the area. Plus, I will return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Drew Benton on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stay with us.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors, making it easier than ever to gear up and have fun out there. Power Pole, total boat control. Visit Mississippi, good times are close by. Low Boats, 50 years of boating craftsmanship. Balls Out, made in the USA, heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
Ooh, Thunder Cricket. Made a little adjustment, started fishing these docks with moving baits. Caught another nice bass. Oh, there we go. Oh, man, what a bite right there. Oh, stay buttoned up. Please stay buttoned up. Oh man, here we go. Ooh, there we go. When in doubt, tie you on a KVD 1.5, put a bass in the boat. Today, guys, we're on Pickwick Lake. As you can tell, the water's super dirty and it's muddy and it's high, but these are the kind of bass that you definitely can catch when you're out here on Pickwick. We're actually following up a massive storm. I was really struggling to get a bite. I really was. And, I started thinking, okay, what can I do to cause a reaction strike, especially around docks? And that's when I pick up a square bill crankbait. Today, I'm throwing it in a chartreuse black color and deflecting it on the docks. Well, right now, there's a ton of current on Pickwick. So when this current's running down the lake, what it's gonna do is it creates these little eddies behind the dock. So what you wanna do is cast up in the current and bring your bait with the current, and that's the kind of bass you're gonna catch. Could you come flip a jig here? Could you go do some other things? Absolutely. But that square bill day in and day out is gonna get you nice bites just like this one.
Hi everybody, and welcome once again to Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Fun and Sun Tackle. 2 locations to serve you, Hurst and Cleburne. If that's not close enough, you can phone in an order and they'll be glad to ship your tackle directly to you. Now this week we're going to start way out west, Lake Allen Henry. In the early morning hours, you can throw your topwaters, your spinnerbaits, your Cincos. Throw things like your buzzbaits and poppars and Zara spooks around the rocks early. Then transition a little bit lower in the water column with your spinnerbaits and Cincos. But be ready for that midday schooling bass bite out on the main lake. You'll want to have your topwaters ready still, of course, when they surface, but you'll also want to keep 2 other baits very handy. First of all, an A-rig. You can reel that fast to keep it near the surface when they're on top, or count it down 5 or 10 when they submerge and you'll connect with them there. Also, a 1-ounce jig head with a plastic swim bait for those deeper fish out there on the main lake. And some of these schoolies are really good-sized bass. Now, out at Cypress Springs, it's a crappie bite and it's boat docks. Check docks with your side imaging and you'll look for brush piles. Once you've got 6 or 8 docks with brush piles, go back to the beginning. Drop your crappie jigs, drop your minnows down. You'll get a milk run of docks there on Cypress Springs. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Be sure and check us out on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
Good one. Oh my gosh, that's a good one there. Oh yeah. Check this one out, guys. Oh, there we go. Ooh, thunder cricket. Check that out, guys. Made a little adjustment, started fishing these docks with moving baits. Caught another nice bass, this time on the thunder cricket. As you can see here, I've got a big trailer, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly why you want to make your offering a little bit larger when you're throwing a thunder cricket. So, on Pickwick, like most Tennessee River lakes, has a ton of big gizzard shad. Gizzard shad can measure anywhere from 4 to 12, 14 inches long. So the bigger the bait, the more likely you are to match the hatch of those gizzard shad and put nice bass in the boat. This lake is stocked full of them, and most Tennessee River lakes are. You know, one thing about it, if you notice here, I'm throwing a thunder cricket with a white blade, not a silver blade. It's a white and chartreuse, so the blade's actually white. So one thing about it, whenever fishing gets a little tough and they've seen a lot of baits, that white doesn't throw the flash, but it still has the vibration coming through the water, and it makes one big silhouette of a white bait. And that's the kind of bites you're gonna get when you throw this. And if you look at this dock right here, this dock is down current. This is a floating dock. It's one of only very few floating docks down through here. It's on the down current side. That fish was positioned perfectly. I made a perfect cast right down that little ledge of that jet ski lift. And this is the kind of bass you're gonna catch whenever you come to Pickwick Lake. I mean, this is another just thick, solid, fat fish. These are the ones I like to catch, guys, no doubt about it. Oh, look at that nice Pickwick bass. Flipping a hack attack jig. Man, you sure can't pass up a lay down flipping a jig on it. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. I got him. Oh gosh. Oh, there we go, there we go. Oh, look at that nice Pickwick bass. Flipping a hack attack jig. You can't go this time of year without a black and blue jig tied on, especially on Pickwick, especially in dirty water. Today, we're at Pickwick Lake. You know, one thing that's going on, the water's high, there's a lot of moving water, so that's when you go to that 1/2 ounce hack attack flipping jig. Black and blue tends to be the color that I go to this time of year, seeing how dirty the water is. The other thing is there's a lot of moving water. So the 1/2 ounce jig keeps your jig from tumbling. And what I mean by that is, what I'm doing is kind of floating this jig around this cover. So when I flip it up in there, I want it to kind of float down the current. That 1/2 ounce jig allows me to do that hack attack flipping jig. And this is the kind of bass you're gonna catch this time of year on a jig. Because you know, the thing is, this time of year, you're gonna catch real fat, nice bass, especially on a jig. So Pickwick is absolutely loaded with largemouth, but it also has big smallmouth bass up around the tail race. Today we're targeting largemouth. We might catch a bonus smallmouth or two, but this is what we're going after today, is these big green bass.
Hey, it's August and the dog days of summer here in Oklahoma. The weather is hot, but you know what? The fishing can be too, especially for our state fish, the white bass. They're really active right now. They're aggressive. We have them in most of our waters. They're fairly easy to pattern and catch. So here's what I suggest. 3 places to look for them. 1, bridge pillars. 2, roadbeds and humps. 3, the long points that go right up against the river channels. Kind of my preferred depth for right now is that 12 to 14 foot depth range. And going with a jig and spoon. My favorite color is white. My best size is a 1/2 ounce, particularly when I'm fishing in this depth that I want to target, that 12 to 14 foot depth. So any of those areas, go there, drop that spoon down there. Not a whole lot of motion to it. It's kind of like working a yo-yo. As soon as it hits the bottom, just a little flip of the wrist, bring it back up, right back down again. And like I say, if you have some current going through, those bridges are an awesome place to target them around the pillars. Get on the down current side, and of course we have a lot of river system lakes, and we do have some flow going through, and those are great places to target white bass at this time. Catch them right now, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with this week's Let's Fish Report, coming to you from Cajun Paradise right here in Hackberry, Louisiana. We're going to start off talking about Calcasieu Lake. I tell you what, summertime heat, it's brutal. When we get the west wind, southwest wind, it does slow our fishing down a little bit, but there's still good catches being caught. Some nice trout, live shrimp, live finger mullet on the channel edges, fishing right in anywhere from 8 to 14 feet of water, find that little cooler water. We are catching a few big bull reds. I say bulls, they're anywhere from about 28 to about 36 inches. Releasing most of those, but I tell you what, they'll tighten that string up for you. On the freshwater side of things, up at Toledo Bend, on the full moon, just after the full moon, got lots of good reports, people doing very well. Everything from up shallow throwing buzz baits and spinner baits to actually fishing deep on humps and ridges, throwing big old plastic worms at night for those lunker bass. For Old Cajun Phil, Captain Kevin Broussard saying, happy fishing, may God bless, and let's fish.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lose. Feel the difference. Waypoint Customs. Customize your boat your way. Strike King, tie one on. Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Fishing Specialties, makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
Oh, there we go. Check it out. That's what you come to Pickwick for, fellas. Oh man, that's a good one. Oh gosh, look, he was right down this debris line. I came in here and there's a little clear water coming in. Oh, stay down, stay down. Oh, that's a pretty good one. Oh, there we go. Man, that's what I'm talking about, guys. Another nice one on the Thunder Cricket. You know, matching the hatch is an important aspect of fishing this lake. You need a little bit larger baits when targeting these nice bass. I mean, look at the belly on this thing. If you notice here behind me though, there's this little creek coming in. It's got clear water in it and it's mixing with the dirty water. And as you can tell, this lake, like I was saying earlier, is a little bit higher. So you can actually see the debris line that we're fishing on the inside edge of, and it produced a really nice bass. So when you're on your lake, whether it's this lake or another one, if you see muddy and clear water mixing, a lot of times these nice bass will actually use those as ambush points, and you can target them with different baits. In my opinion, you want a bait that's up off the bottom, a moving bait, whether it's a spinner bait, a vibrating jig, a square bill, a lipless crankbait. The possibilities are endless whenever you're talking about catching these bass on these dirty water lines, these mud lines. You know, it's formerly known as a mud line. Pick you up some moving baits, whether it's a Thunder Cricket, a 1.5, get you a black and blue jig, or even just a regular jig. If the water's clear, get you a green pumpkin jig. and fish everything that's in front of you. You can't get too locked in on one particular thing. The more open you keep your mind, the more bass you're gonna catch.
Hi everyone, Captain Greg Byrne bringing you this week's Texas Coastal Fishing Report. Hey, we finished up the 2021 red snapper season very strong. Mother Nature gave us a break the last part of July and some great catches of red snapper hit the deck. Now the kingfish bite, hey, it's been a little bit more inconsistent, and I'm believing the freshwater runoff is still the main factor. However, the rivers are settling down and the kingfish bite should get better here in Galveston and Freeport through August. Also, amberjack season opened August 1st, and we're putting some nice AJs in the boat, fishing in 150 to 180 foot of water using live bait. Now let's move down the coast just a bit and talk Port Aransas. Hey, Captain Sutton Schoonover, hey, he's my go-to guy in Port A, and he just told me that the trout fishing has been great the last week, catching limits using Bass Assassin straight tails and DOA paddle tails is the key. Hey, remember, if you want to fish here in Galveston or Freeport, give me a call, check out our websites. Hey, if you never caught one of them big giant bull reds here on the Texas coast, give me a call. I'd be happy to bring you. Till next week, I'll see you next time.
Right on the Thunder Cricket. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at the size of this one. Oh man. I might actually have to grab this one, guys. Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to grab this one. There we go. He's got this Thunder Cricket choked. Oh, there we go. Check it out. That's what you come to Pickwick for, fellas. That right there, and look how he ate that Thunder Cricket. Just inhaled that thing. You know you're throwing the right cricket when they eat it like that. But let's get this fish back real quick, and I'm gonna tell you how to fish this Thunder Cricket even more efficiently. All right guys, when you're fishing this Thunder Cricket or any vibrating jig in current, my equipment actually changes. So if I'm fishing open water or casting around grass or docks, I typically use a Magnum hammer rod. It's a 7.3 medium heavy. It has a lot of whipping action to it. It lets those fish load into it really well. But when you're fishing really heavy current, you've got to adjust your tackle and your reel speed. So in this case, I go to a 7-foot mag bass rod. This is a Pro TI rod. The mag bass rod is available in a lot of different lineups and lues. But the thing is, it's a lot stiffer rod. I use a 7.5-to-1 gear ratio reel with 17-pound tour grade fluorocarbon. You want a very fast reel and you want a really stiff rod for throwing a vibrating jig in current. And the reason is whenever a fish eats it in current, it's gonna start swimming down current with the bait. And if you don't have a fast enough gear ratio and a stiff enough rod, you're gonna lose that fish 9 times out of 10. So if you take that tip and you're fishing in current, make sure you upsize your rod a little bit, upsize your line, and get a little bit faster gear ratio reel, and you're gonna load the boat and miss a whole lot less fish. I learned that lesson a long time ago, and today it still holds true, and it helps me catch more and more bass in these high current situations.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Get our free fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS Anchor. The tour is back. Blazer, high-performance boats for high-performance anglers.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time now for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Mel wants to know, what are some things you know now that you wished you knew earlier on in your career? To get the answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Drew Benton.
The biggest thing that I've learned, and I wish I knew early on, is, the more simple you can keep things when we're out here fishing, the better off you are, and the more ahead of the game you will be. These fish, they're just wild creatures, and they are creatures of habit, and they eat worms. I joke around and say that all the time. They're not that smart, so the more you can simplify things and just keep covering water and fish efficiently, you'll be way ahead of the game.
Thanks so much, Drew. If you have a question for one of our pros, if you want some help from one of the pros, simply go to letsfishtv.com, follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time to find out who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
It's time for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. This week's winner is Josh Davies of Willis, Texas, with a 27-inch speckled trout he caught from a kayak at Redfish Bay, Texas. To enter the contest, go to letsfishtv.com and click on the Big Catch box on the home page and follow the instructions. Or post your photo on last Tuesday's Big Catch post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/letsfishtv. You could have your big fish shown here on our show.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
This week on Pickwick Lake, we were dealt with a lot of adverse conditions, and I'm going to tell you exactly how we caught them. Started out the day fishing a square bill crankbait, notably a KVD 1.5 in Chartreuse and Black. I can tell you this, guys, when I go to a body of water I hadn't been to in a while and I'm dealt with conditions like this, one of the first baits I pick up is a KVD 1.5 in Chartreuse and Black in color. I was roll casting that thing around docks, making sure I connected with those dock posts. When I'd get between docks or even docks that had a lot of cover around, I'd pick up a 1/2 ounce Hack Attack heavy covered jig. I want something black and blue, dark. The water was muddy, it was moving a lot. 25-pound line and a big rod, big Lew's Custom Pro speed stick, and man, I could jack those fish out of that heavy cover. Then we kind of made a move, went to where a really special spot was, where there was some clear water hitting some dirty water. But I can tell you guys, the one thing that was the home run for us today was a Strike King Thunder Cricket, 1/2 ounce in size. And as I told you before, I was using the white blade, and maybe it's just something mental for me, but I really think the white blade gets me more bites, especially in that clearer water that we were dealing with. And as you can tell, this has a big trailer on it. This has a full-size caffeine shad. I wanted something that imitated those big gizzard shad the best that I could. And I can tell you guys, one thing that I love is catching them on a vibrating jig. And this Thunder Cricket has definitely become one of my go-tos. Today we fished out of this Low Stinger 198 bass boat. And I want to tell you something, guys. As you can tell, I got 4 rods that I caught these bass on. Thing about it is, this boat has a great rod locker on it. It has 10 rod tubes in it, so I can take all the rods and reels that I need for a given day of fishing. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode. Barry's going to be back next week. Until next time, I'll see you on the water.